Jerome, big thank to you as well because you are continuing this journey. And this journey is such an
Mhm.
interesting path. First of all, I want to say hi to everybody who's here. My friends from Russia, I see they're joining as well. Привет всем, люблю и шлю свою любовь вам всем. К сожалению, будет на английском встреча.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry.
good.
And of course, I want to welcome everybody to this path of whatever topic is autonomous, but everything is around this topic is just as magnificent as the topic
Beautiful.
itself. So thank you,
Beautiful,
Jerome, for
beautiful.
carrying it.
Привет, привет, everyone, and spasibo, spasibo. Thank you for being.
Yay! See you learning. I'm so happy. You are
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, yes. So
Well,
let's announce the
well, yeah.
topic
You know
because
as well as I do that there's always something new to learn. And what would you say got that fire burning and gave you a yearning for learning more about the wonderful ways of autonomy and the things in this field? Like, what has it revealed for you over time?
well, a lot. My path in quantum physics, in
Mm,
fact, started from autonomous lifestyle. Though I just practiced 1, 2, 3 days of
mhm,
dry fasting, 4 days, but I am a person
mhm,
of to do, not to follow, or to jump in and do myself, just to learn and put my impact into
mhm,
this field or whatever I do. So the first thing when I learned about that it's possible that people can live autonomous lifestyle, and what is it for those who doesn't know, is when we completely uh, going off the food and water and everything else, just like that. I mean, not I'm not summarizing everything else, all the benefits of life, but in this term, we're gonna go from just food and water. And that it's possible. We never guessed. The medical field would would say we are insane, which would they be right? Because medically and biologically, we are not possibly created to live life without taking any products that would support our vitamins, micro elements in the system. But as it turned out, this is maybe paradigm between those two, medical and human body existence, which can explain. The medical field can't explain how the body can live without food, but it does, and no, it heals itself. On top of it, it gets better, and on top of it, it rolls into a very interesting state of different dimensions or whatever you can call it. It's like if somebody new is listening, they probably would tell themselves or to me that I'm going nuts. But whatever they say, I uh, practice on myself and I work exclusively. And most of it's people who do not eat anything years and years. And the energy of their body and the energy of their vibration or their mood or their spirit is way different from the normal person. So before I take you too far, I want to ask, what would you want to, what
right,
direction
of
would you
course,
want to go from
and
here?
thank you for sharing that because there's still things that people don't understand about it and aren't ready to accept in their walk of life. But what allowed you to be ready to accept it in your walk of life? And when did you feel like you first tasted the fruits of autonomy in that way? When did you feel like you were ready to surrender and let go in that fashion?
Uh, well, that all that I know about life just crashed by the learning of autonomous lifestyle. I used to be a nutritionist, sort of. I would know and would exactly tell everybody how much stuff you should take, what type of vitamins I like you would want to have in your body if you have this or that health issues, or if you are working out, you probably want to include some protein and how many times you should do this and that. And you know what? 2 years ago, when I learned about that, this is such a big bullshit. I I do apologize for my language, but that's how I felt. Like I can't even call, like put any other color to it. It's just was crush of everything that I've ever learned through the school system, through the everything that I read, everything that I have ever touched or come across was a not just a big lie. I wouldn't call it big lie, but it's like we all blindsided for whatever reason, and not going into the reason either, because it might be political, might be something else, because it's the easiest way to manipulate the generations and human being is through food, because food is compensation. It's by itself is compensation. All the feelings that we ever want to experience, we experience through food. And when I learned that, uh, people can live absolutely different. And on top of it, not just different, on top of it, you roll into the state of absolutely different feelings and energy. Like you tried it by yourself, I know, Jerome. A couple of days of more than 3 days of dry fasting, right? And for those who tried it more than uh, 5 days, they probably already have a feelings that how is it possible? Like I've becoming feeling better. I've becoming feeling younger. I've becoming my eye vision becomes more sharper. My skin is rejuvenating. My nails are becoming stronger. It's not possible. And on top of it, all physical highlights, you roll into a mind that sometimes you fall into some different dimensions, right? It sounds crazy, but then you like feel that energy. And adding to it the fact that I work directly and strategically with the energy, because through the quantum physics and quantum psychology, I do a sessions that related to an energy, and I work with that quantum field. I do a practices daily, every day for the longest time. Now it's around 2 years already. Those specific practices that roll me into a feeling of who I'm talking and who I'm connecting to. And I start to feel the same feelings here in my body, and I now can analyze, does it belong to me or it's something that you're going through? Like the other day, I had a session with a lady from Israel, and a year ago, we did a session with her, a little less than a year ago, and I've rolled into the field of her mother because we had a session related to a mother. So, and the mother wasn't around, though she's alive, and I felt a strongest pain in my left eye going into the brain. And I told her, tell your mom to go and check her left eye, because there should be something that she's suffering with the left eye, and it's very impacting her left, like it goes into the brain. And she didn't have any issues at that point, but recently that client called me or texted me and said that her mother left the vision in her left eye, and now they're trying to save her right eye. And for me, it wasn't even surprising, because I knew some people don't trust at first, because they're like, how would you know, But in fact, we do all feel it. It's nothing that I'm special. You are the same way when you talk to somebody and you have a shivers when people saying something, and you feel like, oh my God, I can feel what you're saying is true. It's not just the words of your conscious, it's actually your body and energy vibrations, because we're all vibrations, and we vibrate at certain frequency. And also exchange of those vibrations, you actually tapped into the field of my story. And you, if we go with a language, right, so everybody would understand what I'm saying, and you associated yourself with your energy body with my energy body, and it's actually connected. your and mine. And so whatever I feel, you feel at the same moment. And how you would know it if you have a shivers when I talk. That is just the highlights of that connection that it's running through right now, very like without like interruption. And the beautiful point here that it does not matter if you are on this other side of this universe, because the field looking into the cell phone is one, and me connecting to you and you connecting to me and everybody here, we are at the same field of energy, no matter how far from each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, it transcends the technology. You know, the energy goes through and the energy comes in
Yeah.
through so clear. So, you know, thank you for expressing that the best way you know how. And what would you say was the feeling that you started to get when you were going deep into autonomy, or maybe the dry days or the days when you would go without food, without water? What allowed you to trust and have faith and go beyond what many would see as, you know, impossible? Yeah.
I saw the experience of autonomous people, the people who actually walk that path years, some or some that just practice, and it's just inspired me. They were able to read my brain, my thoughts, and it was just, how would you know what I think about right now? And then like, I don't know, it just pops up into my brain because there is no interruption in digesting food, so the energy is so clear, and that exchange of energy is way on a different level. Like, it's
So
fascinating.
you say, Albina, that they could actually read your mind?
If you trust your body, because this is the path of the trust. If you trust yourself with what is coming through to you, then you can easily read the mind of others. And it's very clear when it's free of digesting, free of the process of interruption, because it's a lot of energy goes into the body, not into the body, into the process of digesting everything that we take
Okay, so
in.
since the energy wasn't going into digestion, where was it going?
Well, you know what? It's interesting how the energy, well, you start to have some, well, that's what I see, because I don't have that much experience in track, like in a longer dry fasting or longer autonomous days, though I work constantly with people who do live that way. So what I see that whatever they think, first of all, it's always positive. They are free of negative dynamics, roll into a bad mood. There is no bad mood in the life of those people, never, for whatever reason. The brain takes care of it. The third part, nothing bad happened to those people, never. And if they end up in some consequences or whatever event that might impact them, the road out of those consequences or event is so fast, and everything that they think manifests way better. Not that I want like $1 million and there you go, it's on my table. Not about that. It's like the desires change, the lifestyle change. People who were toxic in their life start to live their life, and they attract people with a better, like, positive energy. So it's
Wow, this
very
is
evident.
fascinating. So when there's, you know, no congestion, no constipation on the vessel, and there's more vibration in the vessel, what would you say, did you see the link between like their manifestations and things happening on that quantum level? Because like you said, it was almost instantly, you know? So how did you see
Yeah.
the link in those two?
Well, that we can go into a quantum physics or the physics of atoms more, because that's sort of from a very further angle can explain these processes, because it's very not explainable if we go to a medical, right? From the biological perspective, it's not explainable. But the physics of atoms somehow, in a sort of the vibration and energy itself, explains it. Because at the end of the day, we all energy. We are cells. The cells are the matter. The matter is the cells are the made out of atoms, and the atoms on its own made out of subatomic particles that are not matter no more. So it's a pure energy, and energy always in the flow, and it's always vibrate, and vibration depends on the mood that that person state of the state of their brain, let's say, right? And whatever vibration and the person vibrate at whatever frequency would create their reality. We all know this from Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, a lot of Tony Robbins, all those speakers, they explain it in many different ways. Now the quantum physics added to it the full explanation what happened with the energy. Now I took myself out of the topic. Can you
Yes,
bring me back?
because you remind me, you know, there's something that you put on your page, and I love how you put it, Albina. You said something about happiness is like the ability to take and the ability to give.
It's very, very clear. The way I put it, I tried to explain as clear as possible, because it's not just saying, it's again going back into, and I'll tie it to autonomous lifestyle, because it's all about the same. It's ability, your happiness and the state of being happy and fulfillment is ability for you to be able to take, and I'm saying take first, not second. Take from universe, take from your parents in the first place. And second part of it is ability to give back through your purpose, because you cannot give anything to universe if you didn't have it. So very important part is take first. And it's not just subconscious, and it's not just saying because it's logical, not at all. It's in a relation to a frequency of our energy. If we do not have energy because we didn't take for whatever reason, because we have a guilt and we can't go to our parents because parents doesn't have, or something else, or whatever reason could be, there are many reasons if we go into quantum psychology. Well, if we are not able to take from the parents that energy and love and fulfillment, we're not gonna have it. So everything that we will give to universe at that point will be in a lack of our energy. So we will drain everything that we have just to give back, so we can receive just a little bit. And this is the crossing the second, very important, the law of universe is a law of balance, where you didn't have to give. And that's where you will, not you, going away from coding. People, they suffer because they're trying to give the 100%. They're going into their purpose, trying to give back to universe because they see themselves and serving. But in the first place, they had an issue with the parents that they couldn't go and say, Mom, could you just say one time in my life that I'm good, that you love me, I need this, this is my energy, this is my battery that keeps me afloat. If it didn't happen, it always will be suffer. It's always at the end of the day, giving to universe will be with expectations to how much did you give it back to me?
Okay.
You know? And with autonomous lifestyle, it's very important to understand, because at this point, there is a energy. We all have energy. We all have certain amount of energy. And that's where it's clear, how much did I give? Did I receive the same amount? If I received less, and that's gonna be issue, then whatever I do is just to receive that little because of that gap with the parents. Going away, going back to autonomous people, autonomous lifestyle, when the people go on that path, their problems and all those that been piled up in their experience of life, all issues with the parents, all of a sudden becoming clear. It's like they're facing what they are having in their life, because there is no compensation through food. The food will compensate for the lack of feelings of love and lack of feelings of
Okay,
happiness.
okay. So, what did you notice on your journey that was the most challenging for you when it came to those feelings and what you were healing on the different levels? Was it more challenging on the physical level, on the emotional level, or on the mental level for you?
Emotional and
Why is
mental.
that?
First of all, I had, as everybody else, I had a very happy family, my parents and relationship, right? But autonomous, again, if you by yourself on that journey, on that path, and you feel that people look at you weird and they don't understand and they judge you, or they saying something, it means that you are not clearly matured in where you are right now. It means that you cannot express the way you are going, whatever you are going for, in a state that you know what you're doing. And that brings you back into the problems with the parents and hierarchy. I do apologize, Jerome. I all relate to this, not relate, I tie it all to the quantum psychology and quantum physics, because it's one thing, and it will bring us back to something in the past. Every experience in life, every desire you want to do, go autonomous. Ask yourself why. What are you going for? Why do you want to live free from food or free from anything that to eat or put into your mouth? What is it triggering you to do it? What are you looking for? And it's important that you go into that path with a brain maturely making that decision, understanding I'm going for this.
So when you asked yourself those questions, because I'm assuming that you've asked yourself a lot of questions, with this journey, did you find what you were searching for or what you were looking for? Did that come up?
Yes, well, because I was doing it simultaneously with learning quantum psychology and physics, it was a very deep detox, emotional, emotional detox, because everything was bringing me back. I'm not autonomous lifestyle though, but I know my path, and now I see clear why I wanted to jump into that train, because I wanted to feel in a way, and I started to search what is it I was looking for. And that brought me to a lack of some sort of relationship, stable relationship with the parents. And again, I'm not from bad parenting. My parents were very, like, always around, but there is always drama in the life of every person. Every person, no matter how happy was your past, it's always experience. The child that grows up to 5 years old always has experience when their parents treated them somehow, and the child has a drama and feelings and a memory that holds that experience. And then later on in life, whatever you want to do, you would want to do because of that memory without even understanding it. So on my path with autonomous lifestyle, I was going through a lot of detox emotionally. Why? What is it I'm looking for? Why I'm always striving to be the best? Why? Because I wanted my parents to see me, and I wanted them to recognize me. And that was my jumping into every possible train which can bring me further in life, that they can say, yes, I'm proud of
Would you
you,
say that And thank you for being vulnerable, by the way. Thank you for sharing these things, you know, because it's good to hear it, and it's good to put these pieces of the puzzle together and connect the dots to see where things lie. And when it comes to the emotions, because I do agree with you, that's a huge element, you know, a huge part of working with it. I think I've heard you say at some time, with our relationship with food and consumption, could it be that a lot of times we're eating those emotions?
We are eating emotions. We do not eat food. Food doesn't really do anything to us besides give us emotions, and that's the truth of the consumption. The people, the more the heavier they are, the more problems they have. If you come across somebody that overweighted, you can ask one question: how was their growing up? And I'll tell you 100 times out of 100 times, it wouldn't be happy if they carry on around so many pounds. That wouldn't be happy past. It's always happened the same way. I've done so many sessions. I've came across so many cases. Can't even explain. It's related. We eat emotion.
Wow. Wow. So shifting, you know, there's something about you, Albina, that I love, that you're so into, you're a practitioner of this. And I am just scratching the surface with this field, but I would love to know more, because you said that you've done so many of these sessions and you've seen others' progression, you know, each time that you're with these people. How has neuro-linguistic programming factored in to your practice?
Well, neuro-linguistical programming is a big part because we are actually coding ourselves. The words that we're using, I'm all actually, that's probably my benefit, and I'm so very thankful to myself that I'm striving for all those interesting scientific areas, because every single thing that we use, we say, is we are coding ourselves with our words that we use. And if you listen the person in, let's say, in a session, or let's say autonomous life, people who's trying to get there, they're expressing their feelings why, or they're telling somebody why they want it, and etc., using certain words. So it's the words are information, and the words are the frequency of energy as well. So what the words they are using will tell me how they moving through their life. So it's also another thing.
So how did the words that you changed or you started using start infusing that energy, you know, through the words that you were choosing? Like, how did that reframe and retame the mind?
Well, we all know that, again, going back to that, we are frequency, we are energy. And energy is the way the energy goes is vibration at certain frequency, right? And everybody here, I'm sure, knows that the word love has the higher frequency. It's not just higher frequency on its own because it's so high, it's just so romantic. No, because when you are actually saying it a lot of times through the day to yourself or around, you actually raising the vibration frequency, vibration in your body. You know what? To do it more understanding for you all, I'll tell you this way. Do you see, this is the head, right? Divided in half. This part is conscious, this part is subconscious. Well, one part is subconscious, which is right side of the brain is subconscious. The left side is conscious, right? So our body holds those emotions. So this gives us certain frequency of energy, right? And those frequency of energy we live through in our body. Now it's probably more complicated.
It's okay.
Let's simplify it. let's simplify it. Simplifying it. So try to use a positive words, because in my work I'm very clear with the words that I use in session, especially if I put the person into the trance or if I work through some practice, transformational practice. It's important when the person is in trust and you use the right positive wordings every time you say something, because it's gonna code there in neural pathway. It will impact the vibration that the person is, and then impact the state that they are in. So I'm not sure if I answered the question, but there is a lot of technology. I don't want to put it
Yes,
as,
yes. You know, it just really interests me and it just piques my curiosity. The power of words, the power of language, the power that it has for change and to reframe. And when you think of language itself, because like you said, Albina, the vibration of love, you know, with that frequency that you put out, just saying the words, I can imagine, you know, back to an area or an era of existence that I'm not familiar with, but we're told, you know, maybe our Paleolithic ancestors, or maybe when we were migrating, we might have had different words or different ways of communicating certain things. Like maybe we had a word for fire, or a word for, you know, lion or tiger, or, you know, bear over there, right? To communicate, or danger, or, you know, the feeling of comfort. But then when we got to more intricate words to describe things, like why do you feel like language has evolved in the way it has and how it brings us together? Like, why do you feel like language evolved to the point that it has now?
it's exchange of energy, another path, another exchange of energy. But when you are in a state of connection energetically, with a trust to what you feel, again, I always say it, because in our society, unfortunately, we disconnected for many reasons. In school, people would say, don't cry, don't say it. Do you feel jealous? Don't, jealous is bad. Feeling jealous is bad, and etc., etc., etc. This way, it's coding us to be disconnected from the feelings that we feel, and then later on, it's impact. But the connection is related to our words as well, because it happens simultaneously on many levels that we can't see. We can't see the words. How would you say they impact? But you one word that you heard once in your life, and then during a very emotional state, let's say, in during a dramatic state or whatever, right, can cause you feeling those feelings and roll into those feelings without you realizing and without your memory to pulling the data. You just roll into the feelings because I said the word that have been said that during that event, you know. It's, yeah, it's power. Words are power.
So
The
we
feelings
can't
are power.
see the words, like with our visible eyes on this spectrum. We can't actually see the words we're speaking, but you're saying we feel the words. We
We exchanging the energy through the vibration that we say. So it's another energy. Why they're saying when you feel uncomfortable, what the first thing you want to do is say that I feel uncomfortable, and then it leaves your body because you let it out.
okay. So say that somebody has a sensation, and you know, in their brain they say, okay, this is pain. I feel pain. This is painful. But if they don't say that it's pain out loud, if they don't claim that it's pain, can they reframe that pain? Can they describe that sensation in another way? Does that change what they feel by what they say?
Yes, that's a very good question. I like the conversation with you. You are pulling very good questions. I love it. Yes, it's actually, yes, to what question? No, really. But I'm going to tell you, if the mind is matured, and when the experience is happening and you understand that it's hurting, if the mind is matured, if you already went through a lot of understanding, you already revisited all the issues and whatever was impacting your state of your mind or feelings, you won't feel any hurt. But if actually the person does feel destructive energy or pain, let's say, the first thing I do suggest, and many other bright minds would suggest, to release it through the physical act, through words, through live through it, not just inside. It needs to find a way out through tears, through punching the bag, punching them, no, I mean pillow or whatever, whatever in that point would work. What I do if I go through some tough time, I sit down in my car, I'll go for a ride, turn up the music, and I cry out loud and yell, and I lose my voice. But then I come back home and I'm like, I'm present with the kids. I don't take it on kids. It's my personal issue or something else. And I am here. I released. I'm out of it. So you want to
Okay,
express it one way
okay.
or
Thank you
another.
for that testament. These are like timeless tools that we can use, because sometimes we do have to like lose our mind to come to our senses, you know?
Right. Well, you know what? Because a lot of experience, it's impacting us. And the way the energy works is always compensation. It's another very big thing. I don't want to run or cross another topic, and which is also big, but I'm gonna tell you, everything that you ever experienced in life has a compensation. Let's say, let's say you eat, as I mentioned earlier, right? You have cravings to eat some, not you, somebody have a cravings to eat certain type of food, and let's say it's a bread with butter or whatever. It's a compensation. What is it behind is the experience from the past related to that particular bread and butter from the past, when maybe mother was around, or maybe when the grandmother would do what was baking. I don't know. Sorry about that. Was baking the bread homemade and would cut the crust and put the butter and give it to a child, and that's the act of love. And now she's no more around, and this is the only way the brain recorded that experience of love in neural pathway, and now trying to pull that experience and feelings that I am lovable through that bread and butter. And then people can't have memory gone. They don't remember why they have a cravings, but that's a compensation for that love that they're
Oh
missing.
my God. Oh my God. Well, I just I'm getting revelations, I'm getting realizations just as you speak, Albina. So it's like every consumption is its own compensation. We're
Absolutely. Absolutely. Food is compensation for the feelings that you are missing. And sometimes your brain can't even analyze what is it you're missing. It just know that it will receive that feeling 5 seconds during when the food in your mouth. That's it.
so we're like looking for the payoff, you know?
Yeah.
We're constantly seeking that like dopamine release, or even just that form of compensation that we had at one point in time, because like you said, the body and our essence, it stores everything, it records everything. So everything is recorded, everything is stored. But if we never opened that door, would we even need to explore?
Well, the people who never open that door, they might will succeed in one area of life, which would be autonomous, let's say. But all other areas of life, autonomous and health, but all other would drop, because it's a balance, another law of universe, a balance that I mentioned a little earlier. If you didn't receive that love fully from your parents, you couldn't take it for whatever reason, you everything you're gonna do is going to be, I'll give more so I can receive a little. And but to this point that we just touched, the same law applies, where it will be disbalance in the areas of life. And let's put only four. We won't go too far: relationship, finances, purpose, and health. So if you would succeed in autonomous lifestyle, and let's say it would be your health, then finances or relationship will drop because you didn't open the door to that, causing those feelings of eating, compensating. It will compensate through other areas of life.
Okay, so there's always balance. Always. The scale tips and then it dips. Okay.
Will compensate.
Okay. Because when you said everything is stored and recorded, you know, one of the things that came to mind was like maybe even the sensation of sushi, right? You know, sushi with all those flavors inside of a roll of sushi. And you have that explosion of taste with different tastes coming from all over the place, right? And then it's like you can't erase that sensation. You have it now. You know it now. You know too much, right? So next time I go into the store and I see the sushi's over there, and now it's almost like pulling at me because I still have that memory in my body, or that memory that's been stored because I chose to open that door and explore, you know. So now I'm craving for more, you know what I mean? But if I never went across from that, if I never experienced that, it wouldn't be pulling on me in that way. The same way I don't crave a cigarette. Somebody could be smoking right next to me, but I don't have that craving because I never experienced that, you know?
Yeah. Yes. That's right. I just didn't understand your question at first. Yes. And again, the way to work through those attachments, because attachments to food through emotions. And of course, you're absolutely right. I want to highlight that our body, our brain, our muscles hold the memories. It's one system. It's like orange with a different parts of it. It's one organism. And if we received experience related to food somewhere, and it gives us feelings, those feelings stored not just in here in neural pathway related to a food, and it's also in the body, in the muscles, and of course the taste over here, all those taste, physical.
Absolutely. So, you know, lastly, I'd love to ask you, Albina, because you study people like Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe, you study people like Bob Proctor. And I remember, you know, Bob Proctor saying something about if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Almost like if you can have the vision, then you can see those seeds that you plant come to fruition. So how has it been important for you in your life, in your journey, to envision and use your imagination to have that manifestation on that level, at the quantum level as well? Okay.
It's very important. It's very important. It's very useful. It's so practical. I just go to Bob Proctor for that, and for Joe Dispenza, doctor, which is like has such a big impact on quantum psychology in general, based it all on a quantum physics and the law of energy. But systematic practice will impact. Systematic practice that will put the seed in here will manifest it in your hand. And what it does is that we all always live in our body. There is no way we don't, right? But the body has a memory, just like you said, Jerome. The memory related to the past, to experience in the past. So every time when we are down in our body, we are down in our past. And from that past and the feelings, we build our future. So how future would look will based on the past that we are in, and it will be the same as the past. So by the practicing in including or adding some practices like manifestation, like focusing, or meditation, target meditation, silent meditation, whatever practice, if it's systematic, it will change the feeling of your body. It will change the vibration and the frequency of your energy, subatomic particles of your body. And it will change the future, because you know more in the feelings of the past, you are in the feelings of what you're going to have in your vision. So you experiencing and building the past to it.
Okay, so just so I understand, so you said the body is in the past? You said
Every time when you feel certain way, let's say I am emotional drained, right? So why are you emotional drained? And we people have tension to focus on it, or they have attention to watch certain movies, and somebody loves drama where there is a crying, right? Because it gives them sensations and the feelings. So the feelings that related to something that they couldn't overcome in the past, which means they are putting their energy in their body through the vibration and frequency of their energy in the state of that feelings that they couldn't process and release in the past. Otherwise, they wouldn't create the watch drama. All right. So every time they feel certain way that they want to cry or something, they're in the past. And actually, they're not in the past that moment of 3 hours. They're in the past for the rest of their day and next day as well. Because brain will be rolling into that loop of processing and thinking, going back, and memory might not involve because memory blocked that feelings. It was maybe not pleasant, that's why. But the neural path is the same, it's still here. So it will run through the loop of feelings that will bring in the past and will create a future.
okay. It just reminds me, that's sage wisdom, like how you've heard, I'm sure, Albina, when you are depressed, it's like you're living in the past, and when you're anxious, you're almost like living in the future. But when you're at peace, you're residing in the present, in that moment. And through that, we build everything. It's like everything comes from everything else. I'm gonna have to watch this again. I'm gonna have to, you pack so many gems into one container.
That's right. A lot of areas that I don't want to even go in, because it's a whole different topic, and it will take time to just open it up and explain so people would understand how everything related
and
to
I just
everything.
want to thank you once again. So much gratitude for you, because I know that even as you're speaking, you're going through the translations in your mind, because English is not your first language, correct? Right.
No,
So this is
not.
like tremendous thankfulness for you, because as you're communicating all this, you're having to translate on the fly, so I can only imagine what that's like for you to be able to convey the message that you want to get across while still doing that internal work. So just thank you once again for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and thank you for carrying on that path of autonomy in English-speaking population. I'm
Wow.
absolutely
Albina, if
grateful.
this was the first time that somebody encountered you, would you just let people know any services that you would like for them to receive and where they can find that?
Anything
No sound. I can't hear the sound for some reason. Oh, here we go. You're back. Okay, good.
Yes, so I do have a couple programs that I used to offer English-speaking population that related to a quantum psychology based on quantum physics, and it's very transformational. But if somebody is interested, I was looking into setting another round of 12 weeks of transformation, it calls, or maybe a shorter version will be offered later on, where they will learn every law of universe, and there is basics of three that actually control our destiny and our life. By going through it, it will help to just open up the life from the different angle, just unfold it completely and build the trust with yourself, will bring you to yourself. And of course, my page is available. I do one-on-one offering sessions on any topic, health, relationship, finances, purpose, because it's all the same and we work on all the areas. So yes, one-on-one.
Beautiful. So people can come to
Yeah,
you, receive that on your page as well. Okay.
absolutely. Well, they can message me, inbox me if there is any personal questions they would want to set the session
Okay.
for, and we can
Beautiful.
go
Thank
over
you.
it.
Thank you for being in service. And, you know, thank you for choosing your purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome. I love you guys, and I want to thank you all who watched this recording and welcome you on my page and follow us because Jerome, it will be in this 2023. We are setting up the English speaking platform of autonomous channel based on that autonomous channel in Russia, but we will be communicating with you and I think it will be exchange of experience and expansion altogether
All
for
right. All right. Well, take care, Albina. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Jerome. You as well.